roast beef here. Jigs and friggin' Bigs. We got one hell of a show for you this week, everybody. I'd like to say that not much fishy has gone on, but really, I'll tell you, there's a lot of fishy-adjacent activity really kind of kicking off right now in the world of Bobby Roast Beef. We're going to talk about some of that. We got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown in the house. Everybody's getting ready for Christmas and losing their damn mind. We're recording on a Saturday night here. There's been beverages involved. We're going to talk about layering in the cold. That's coming up in just the tip. And man, do we have a freaking headline for you. Buckle up, guys. It's going to get really, really good. We got great stuff to talk about. An amazing FTG this week. And no guests in the beef seat, so we're going to just have ourselves a good old Saturday evening right here. You guys go ahead and grab yourself something delicious to enjoy, and we'll catch you in a bit. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. Yeah, that about sums it up right there. I'll tell you, Joe. Really, really kind of does.
I feel you.
Yeah, I feel like I'll say I'm going to throw out a statistic. 87.6% of Jigs and Bigs listeners really felt that right there. I'm okay with it. Everybody, welcome to Jigs and Bigs. Glad to be here. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We've we're literally just days away from Christmas happening, and it's been insanity. So much crazy shit is on everybody's calendars right now. It's just everybody's running around doing shit, which is great. Go ahead and enjoy it. But I'll tell you, I've actually even managed to squeeze in some fishy shit this week, and I'm a little impressed with it, to be perfectly honest. And I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in because I've got some shit to talk about. So the implication went, I'm gonna call it for a checkup this week. I brought the implication, you guys that are unfamiliar, the implication is my boat. It's my Angler 1650 from Lund. And I needed to get some maintenance done on that 50 horsepower Merc that's hanging on the transom of it. And I brought it out to Hank's Marine for not really even a scheduled oil change, just a text and, hey, what day is better for you? And so I brought it on up there, and I'll tell you what, it's kind of nice, looking in the back and just seeing that nice sleek cover. And everything is good. Went up and we changed the oil. And before we get started, I didn't even realize this, but Matt had put in a a vessel view module, right? In line, which this allows me to connect via Bluetooth using the Mercury Vessel Viewer app, and get data about the motor, which is fucking cool as hell. So I have a feeling that they kind of like set me up for this. They have a good understanding of what a type of person will put their boat through for hours. Depending on the type of use that they use. And they're like, well, you've been using it? I'm like, dude, I've been using it a hell lot. Of course, I go in beaming ear to ear. I'm just like, I love this fucking boat. It's amazing. I've been,
yeah.
And when I told them, I was like, seriously, I've been out like 4 days a week with the boat. And they're like, really? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I am cashing in. When I'm using the boat like that often, I feel like I'm making it that payment really worth it, And they're like, oh, so what do you think you have for hours on that Merc? I was like, Jesus, 4 days a week. I'm not on it that often. I was like, I don't know, maybe about 100. And so I was like, all right, cool. Listeners, in your mind right now, think about it, right? I bought the boat the end of June, and I kind of fished it average like 4 days a week until about, I'll say like all the way through October, until November 1st, right? Again, I'm fishing, I'm using the trolling motor a lot. Think of a number right now. What do you think that number is? Now, Joe, you and I had already talked about this because I had texted you when I was on the way back, because I was amazed by how few hours I had put on there. Now, listeners, I'm going to tell you what it is. What's your number? The actual number of hours I put on in that amount of time from the end of June till November 1st, using it 4 days a week, and then a little time toward the end through November and stuff. 28.5 hours. That's all I put on there for hours. I could not believe it was that low. And he's like, this boat, this motor is basically just past put like the break-in window, and like it's essentially still brand new. And he's like, everything that we're going through, everything looks good, so I feel good about that. That is awesome. We also had a good conversation about how to utilize this boat in the winter, in the snow, if I can find open water. And Matt was able to calm some of my concerns about going and like bringing it in like cold water and then having it freeze up. He was like, he's like, these boats operate at such a high temp that you've got more than enough time to be able to drain all the water, and you'll be good to go. As long as you drain it, you'll be good to go. And then I realized they told me a story. I realized something, like these boats get used in like Alaska in like really cold water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like even in fresh water, like the moving water up there, if they've got access to open water. So it's like, he's like, this is a little bit tougher than you think, He's like, the big thing is you just don't want to be a bonehead and leave it full of water, overnight. Like that kind of thing, something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. So that was a real good feeling. I immediately then also reached out to Janelle, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, you're in Jersey. I go, how often do you get ice? And she's like, buddy, we never get ice down here, like hardly ever. And I was like, well, if you've got open water, let's schedule another trip. Now, I don't think we're going to go and catch snakehead. Who knows what we're going to be able to go catch. But, I'm down to go give it a shot. If we can find some open water, I'm going to send it. So we've got a camping trip that we're planning in January now. I just got to figure out which weekend it's going to be. But it should be pretty goddamn good. I'm looking forward to it. And then this was Friday morning. I woke up and brought my daughter to school, and when I was on my way back, I stopped to get some eggs. And as I got out, I got an email from Speed Quizzing, the company that I do some work for, some tech support in the U.S. They create the trivia software that I use, and it was a Christmas bonus. It wasn't like a ton of money or anything like that, but it was a very, very nice surprise. Speed Quizzing had a good year this year, and they wanted to kind of share the wealth. I was like, that's fantastic. So they sent me over a little bit of a bonus, and I was like, this is sweet. I'm going to do the adult thing and pay some bills, but I'm going to take a little fun tax out of it. And I bought myself a pair of bibs. I got the Hydronauts.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I got the Hydronauts from AFTCO. It's just that after looking at all the sizing and everything, I'm like, I feel real confident that these are going to fit me the best and therefore probably last the longest.
Right.
And in all honesty, looking at the price, like I was looking at buying, like I was talking about the Carhartts, and I was looking at some other brands, and at the end of the day, like I was going to spend like another like $75 to $100, compared to some of these other brands. And I'm like, this way they'll do the job. I'm like, this is going to be a good thing. So I just got a shipping notice that they are shipped.
Sick.
That's pretty sweet. And I am talking with Paul about going out and doing a send out on the Cape if the weather cooperates next weekend. So fingers crossed that works out, because that would be fucking beautiful. We got a couple jig heads in the house. We got Jay Manning with us, and we got John Hagens. John says, what's going on, fellas? Jay goes, hey guys, I will be in and off with kitty bedtime coming up. That happens to kids, you got to get them to bed, and sometimes that's a process. I don't miss those days. I do miss those days, and I don't miss those days. I
miss. Yeah. I still got it with Emma, but that's about it. But
I realized today something really odd. Like, my oldest daughter is not at home more than she's not at home more than she is. She's usually like, at her girlfriend's, and, I mean, like, she hasn't effectively like moved out. Trust me, her shit's everywhere. But yeah, I realized, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I miss having the kids around. I was like, I really do. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's the holidays. Maybe it's the booze. Because I had gone out today with the old lady. She wanted to do her favorite activity.
Go to Trader Joe's.
And at first it was, yeah, get up early in the morning. We're going to go. It's going to be awesome. Then she's like, no, I don't think I'm going to go. Blah, 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 blah. And then it was because she had a nail appointment with my youngest. That's their thing. Every 2 weeks they go and do their nails and stuff. It's ridiculous. Like they are, like my wife was, when she found out we were having when Chloe was born, she was like, oh, she's going to hate me when she's a teenager, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be all this, whatever. And, you know, I don't think it was nearly as bad as she made it out to seem. But my youngest and my wife are like besties. They do all, like they go to concerts and shit together.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. But it's you know, my daughter loves it, so that's great. So she's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to go. I was like, well, all right, no problem. So they get home and I was like, why don't we go this afternoon? I was like, we'll grab lunch. We'll have a couple of drinks. We went over to Nathan Bill's where I do trivia on Wednesday nights, where the 100th episode was. That first party. So we go in there and I was like, you love specialty seasonal cocktails. I was like, they just have a brand new menu. So she had, I forget what the hell she had. It was a gin drink, you know, with like, you know, a mint and like fresh cranberry garnish. I had a holiday old fashioned, which was a rookie mistake. Just going hard right off the get go. You know what I mean? And then I followed it up with, I think maybe my favorite holiday cocktail I've had so far. And it's something called a Jingle All the JMO.
Okay.
And I'm telling you now, Jameson is not my favorite whiskey. It is up. I think it's great shot whiskey. Get it over the. I'm not a big fan of Jameson. A lot of that has to do with because I was drinking it a lot when my wife and I got married. Like we went through a case of JMO at the wedding reception. It was ridiculous how much Jameson. Yeah, it was bad, and. You know, I think that I've gone past that part of my life, but you can't taste that signature Jameson taste necessarily. It's such just a well-crafted drink. Unbelievable. And they're almost crushable, which is scary. That's what I had on Wednesday when I was working. I love that I can drink at work. That's kind of ridiculous. And then, of course, you know, we can't do anything together without popping at least a 1-to-1 edible. So we did that. We did hit up Trader Joe's and got some of the last items that we kind of need for Christmas Eve, as far as like making food and stuff like that. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that's all set. I am making something amazing for Christmas Eve, and I think if it turns out as well as I think, I'm going to make it a regular thing around the campfire. Is smoked sausage burnt ends, Joe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's going to be if it turns out the way that I think it is, and I'm using some pretty cool, like I'm using some heat your meat stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm taking care of the homies in this recipe. I'm modifying it appropriately. The only thing that I am disappointed I'm not using for this go round, and I know that they will be better when I get this. I'm not using bright leaf smoked sausage, which are the best smoked sausage on the planet, hands down. I just didn't trust that they were going to make it here in time if I shipped them. And that was the biggest thing. That was more of an error on my part, but I am using a good runner-up. I'm actually using, because it's so hard locally to find smoked sausage, I'm using a smoked kielbasa from Outlook Farm. And it'll be same kind of idea, but I have a little twist on there. I'm going to do some fancy knife work to create some good edges to get, you know, nice and crispy before they get in the. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
The sounds of that.
Yeah, so it might be a regular thing, Joe. You know, that might be the deal. It was either that or I told my kids, I was like, "What do you want me to do? These burnt ends or chicken fried bacon?" And they were like, "Ooh. That sounds amazing too." I was like, oh, should we just make fucking both? And I'm like, no, fat ass. You're trying to get healthier. What the fuck?
Right.
You know, so yeah, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe that's something I'll just keep in the back of my mind for the next time I do like a fish fry or something.
Yep.
I got the oil, you know?
Yep.
Why the hell not? So, I mean, I would say, you know, fishy adjacent, sure. I'm down with that. How about you, Joe?
Nothing fishy, dude.
Yeah?
Nothing. Yeah. Dude, it was, you're just talking about my week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nothing fishy. Although I am so bad at this, dude. Every fucking year, we wait till last minute to get Christmas shopping done.
Oh yeah.
And we get all so we went out, we did it today, and we're like, why do we do this to ourselves? We do this every goddamn time. We do it. What's your theory?
So after listening to your episode of The Whole Angler,
yeah,
I think your Christmas shopping is your new motorcycle.
Oh, you're
that's your adrenaline rush right there. Because I'm the same way. I'm like, I like to wait to the end. Dude, I put off wrapping them until like the day of. I'm like, fuck that. Like, and if I can't find tape, and I'm like, they're getting duct tape, whatever, you know. I am just, I don't know. I think it's the pressure, you know,
dude. It probably is. It probably 100% is. But I went somewhere. I haven't been in a while. We did go up to it because like the kids and stuff are done.
Yeah.
And we went up to Cabela's up north there in Holden or whatever. And dude, so where do you think the first place I went was?
Fishing gear.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
are you looking at those new hummingbirds?
So they did not have them.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, they didn't have, so I did go over there first thing. Like I always kind of see because I've been on the, and I won't do it because my wife will literally leave me.
Oh yeah.
But I've been wanting to fucking get the Apexes versus what I have now.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the Apexes, but it would cost me fucking $30,000 to, you know, something stupid. Not $30,000, but it would probably be 15. But so I will say, I know we have shit on Bass Pro a ton about their fishing sections.
Yep.
Dude, they were fucking stocked up. I was actually impressed.
No shit. Hey, there are times where like you just hit it just the right way. And like,
yeah, it's like, I was just like, whoa, like dude, I totally expected to go into the fishing section and it be just a barren wasteland. It being like the winter and shit. Yep. And dude, I was utterly impressed about not only the stock that they had, but some of the shit that they actually had some, like some of my Demiki hooks I like to use, like my Demiki heads. I did grab a bunch of those because I usually have to order them online because no one ever has. I mean,
if you got access to them right there,
and they're usually a lot of times they're sold out. So I did get some of those. Mm-hmm. I can't think of the name of it. I didn't end up pulling the trigger, but one thing I think I'm going to try out this year is I want to try out like a JDM braided line. Because they're so friggin' the diameter of them are so thin.
Oh yeah, dude, and they're strong as shit.
Yeah, and they had a JDM brand there. It's not. I wish I took a picture of it, but it's not a brand I'd ever heard of.
Yep.
And it was the diameter was real not, huh? No, I want to say it started with a P.
All right.
I never see it. It was just an end cap, like a small end cap. Like they didn't have much, but they just didn't have what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like like they only had it in like the 100 yards. I'm like, I'm not, I don't want to do that. But, cause I usually get at least the 300, the 600 yard spools, but that's also what I knew immediately. It wasn't actual JDM because it was rated in yards versus meters.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, so if you true JDM line,
they're just putting some racist shit on the labels, like making you think that it's fucking
yeah. But
nice,
you know,
nice,
the diameter of the line was accurate with that JDM shit. Like I think their 15 pound, I want to say was 0.16.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So which is they're usually like 0.21 or something.
Did you notice if it was is a 4-strand?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
I'll have to look around, man. I mean,
so
don't get me wrong. I am a reaction tackle slut when it comes to braid, even with my BFS stuff. But like that Japanese, because I've heard of brands out there that will be like stuff that I'm using now that's like rated like 8 to 10 pounds. It's here it's the same diameter will be rated like 14 pounds.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah,
it's crazy because like where I like told myself I was really going to start looking into it was Ryan Bogley, the butcher. I saw him.
The butcher.
Yeah, we just so happened to both. We met up at Webster Lake, and he showed me a new reel he got, and he actually got it from like Japan, like on the used JDM
we were
market
talking
in
about
Japan.
that. Yep.
And the dude like sent it with line on it with a JDM braid, and I was just like, whoa, like just like I couldn't believe like just how nice it felt in your finger.
Yeah,
and
it's
friggin'
slick.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. So since then I've been shopping around to see. I'm not obviously I'm not going to buy 1,000 yards of it right off the rip in case I don't like it. But
yeah, of course. It's nice to get a small spool, throw it on as a main line, try it out, and even just use it on one combo. So you're not
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, no, I can definitely get down with that idea, and I am a big fan of as small a diameter a line as you can throw and feel confident. And I mean,
and that's what you got to do.
And I've fucked up and been like, oh yeah, I use this 2-pound leader with trout and crystal clear water, and then broken my PB smallmouth with it accidentally. So it's just be aware of what you're fucking with.
Yep.
That's
100%.
awesome.
100%.
You know what? You gave me a great idea, Joe. We've been talking about doing the round tables and stuff. And like Bass Pro's taking a lot of shit. And I have a theory.
Yeah.
It's just like Walmart. Walmart takes a lot of shit constantly from everybody. Walmart is a social experiment. But in the same way, Bass Pro does take a lot of shit for the impact that they have on local communities and, all kinds of shit like that. Where like if you follow some Instagram profiles that are real critical of like the big box tackle stores and things like that. I had this idea initially. I was like, they should do this themselves, or maybe we do it on our own.
Yeah,
we make a Bass Pro or Cabela's like bingo card. No Kytex in 2.8 inch. Check. No 12-pound fluorocarbon at all.
Yep.
Check. You know what I mean? Like things like that. I think that could be fucking fun as hell. The Jigs and Bigs viewers, we have a random. Maybe we can find somebody to do like a randomizer. You can download your card. See, this is why I wish we had a Jigs and Bigs app.
I was going to say, there's an app for that.
If we had a Jigs and Bigs app, we could just make it part of the app where there's a bingo card and you're like, oh yeah, there's none of this, there's none of this, there's none of this. And if you get the whole thing, like wonderful, we give you a shout out on the show or something like that, Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. That could be very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But the other thing, too, is this, like we were talking the round tables, we should have a conversation about the big tackle stores.
I agree. I
think that would be a good idea because it's one of those things where, like, I try to go local every time I can. You know what I mean? Like, I try to go local for everything I possibly can. The more local, the better.
It's just tough because there's just not that many anymore.
Like every once in a while, you'll find me at a Chili's. You know what I mean? Like everybody pays a little something into the system one way or the other. It's shitty, but like sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes it's just for sheer convenience.
Yep.
But yeah, I think
100%.
that'd be a fucking great idea.
I love me some Chili's margaritas. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. You and Chili's have a history.
Yeah,
you and Meg have a history with Chili's.
Yeah.
No
that's
shit.
That's kind of how Emma happened.
That's what I'm saying. Did you guys ever get the Awesome Blossom with more awesome?
Oh, yeah, it was real awesome.
It was awesome.
So yeah. Anywho, yeah. So back to my fishy, non-fishy shit. So, yep. Went to Cabela's, checked out their fishing section. Meg went and did her thing with the kids. Mm-hmm. We just had Emma and Jackson today because my oldest doesn't leave his dungeon bedroom, and Jeremiah was at a birthday party, so she went off, did their thing, and yeah, sometimes you can go play a nice one.
Jay Manning.
Yep. And so I got a couple small things, but dude, there's a sick gift that we end up getting my aunt.
Oh yeah,
because she's like big into like animals and stuff. Dude, they have these bracelets at Cabela's that we got a couple of them.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard of them. Yeah.
Where you get your own, like you track your own like animal. Like there's an app, it has like a collar on, and like it's specific to the bracelet that you bought, and you can like track the animal wherever it is. I mean, dude, they had gorillas, fox, wolves, sloths, whales, manatees, penguins, like they had it all. And so we thought that was real cool. Emma wanted to get around that, so she did that. But yeah, so we went there, dude. Got the I think we're done. Probably not, but I think we're done. Maybe.
Yeah.
Shopping, maybe. Because we don't do a list. That's for fucking jokers.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you're like, oh, this would be so much easier if there was some sort of a form that had a bunch of names with like check marks. That it would be so much easier. And no, I never do that.
No, fuck no, like, dude. And
Christmas Eve, you're like, fuck, we forgot Uncle Charlie, and you're at Cumbies getting fucking gift cards and scratch off.
Dude, yeah.
That's a Massachusetts staple, man. The people there are people in my community I only see on Christmas Eve at Cumberland Farms.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yep. It's funny because, like, thankfully, like, my siblings and I, like, so for instance, like, my siblings on my new siblings, like, we're just all going on a cruise, so we're not like buying shit for each other. We're doing a cruise in May.
Similar with my sister and I. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're like, let's not do gifts. She's like, you owe me like $6,000. I'm like, no, I know, I do. You'll get it.
So we did that. We the kids wanted Moe's, so we ended up going to Moe's.
Yeah. All right.
Moe's or Chipotle, Bobby?
Oh God. Never had Moe's. Yeah. Never had Moe's. I've had Chipotle when it was good, and I've had too much Chipotle when it was trash.
Yeah.
Like early 2000s Chipotle, when you were like, holy fuck, there's a Chipotle here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of how Chick-fil-A was for us for a minute.
Yeah, for a hot meal, everybody's like, oh my God, there's a my favorite is like, you go to a casino and there's like a Steak Shack, a Steak and Shake. Or a Shake Shack, and you're just like, oh my God. And you're just like, Yeah, I would say, like, if somebody says to me, again, like, I try to go local all the time. Where I am, I won't go to Chipotle. I'll go to, like, La Veracruzana. Or
that's awesome. I wish we had shit like that around here.
It's so fucking good. Or the other one that's a big one. What's the one? God, I forget the name of the. Hold on a second. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm taking you guys on the journey. Hey Siri. Give me a list of burrito places in Northampton, Massachusetts.
Perfect.
One possibility I see is La Veracruzana Mexican restaurant on Main Street in Northampton, about 8 miles to your north, and it gets 3.5 stars on Yelp. Is that the one you're looking for?
The Chipotle and egg burrito there is out of this world. But the other one I'm thinking of is Bueno Isano. And Bueno Isano has multiple locations.
Gotcha.
And they're good too. You know? Mm-hmm. But, I have eaten a lot of Chipotle with Sean the Fisherman because that's a go-to spot. But, like, again, like, that's the thing about those chain restaurants. Like, a lot of the times you can trust them because if you've got food allergies, they take that shit very seriously, you know?
Yep. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
But yeah, so other than that, dude, nothing really fishy. But the one thing I've realized is I'm getting the itch hard, like, early this off season.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Like, dude, I've been watching so much YouTube and fishing with Nordby. You ever watch that one?
I think I have.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I like him.
Yeah.
Like in the back of my mind, I was like, oh man, I should try to reach out to him, see if he wants to come on the show. But I think we swear a lot, way too much for him. But
well, I can keep it nice and clean on the interview. That's not a problem.
Yeah. We'll have to keep it clean.
The rest of the show could be a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So no, I've been watching a ton of his videos. I've been keeping up to date with the Milliken shit, and that's about insane. It, man.
Yeah,
it's fucking wild.
Regarding the Milliken situation, the Milliken issue, I've been talking with Ben. on social media a bit, and I was like, dude, open door policy. I was like, you say the word when you're ready to come on the show. We'd love to have you on. And he was even like, I'd love to schedule something now, but he goes, dude, there's no way I'm going to shut the fuck up about this. And he goes, it's probably not a good idea for me to be on a podcast right now, and because he's right, it's an ongoing sort of situation. So until he's clear to open his mouth, I totally get it. But I did support Milliken a little bit, and I did get one of those free Milliken hats because I mean,
That's
come
awesome.
on, I had to. I was like, I didn't realize that was like a limited drop.
Ooh, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was like
Ooh,
that was
did I miss
that
it
one
already?
time. I don't know. It might be tonight might be the last night. I don't know if if it's Friday or Saturday, but check it out. It's on the 6 Cents page, and
I'm gonna go on right now.
it is pretty good. Like, he's no dummy. He knows exactly what's going on. There's a lot of people that are significantly in his corner. Like, a lot of these people are just haters. And we're going to have a roundtable conversation regarding that, too, because that was something that, like, there was a meme going around for a while of, like, these two guys in the street dressed in nice suits. And they were interacting. And then, like, there was text over one that said boat owner, one that said kayak owner on the other. And then in the background, there's like this homeless guy wrapped up in like a bunch of, I think it was like bubble wrap or something. And he's just like standing there. He's like, what? And he goes, bank anglers. And I'm like, that is a great conversation to have. Like, because there is, like, we talked about it last week, how like there is, I don't know, there's this sort of negative section between kayak anglers, boat anglers, and even bank anglers, where it's just like, well, fuck those guys. Oh, fuck those guys.
That was such a funny meme. I know exactly what one you're talking about. I saw it. I might have actually like shared it on Instagram.
You might have sent it to me. Yeah. It's very possible.
I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
The dude, the homeless dude drinking the 40 with it wrapped in a blanket.
He's just like, what?
Angler.
But like, it's funny because it's true to a point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny. There was like, I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were telling me, they're like, what's interesting is the kayak anglers that seem to have sort of an issue or have a beef of some sort with boat owners are the kayak anglers that have turned their kayaks into bass boats.
100%.
Those are the ones where it's like, because
100%.
Dude, I tell people straight up all the time that, like, when it comes to like my kayak, my kayak is a bass boat for one.
Yeah.
It's a very efficient fishing machine. It's just not great in current situations or anything like that. Speaking of my kayak, so this winter, one of the things I do need to do is I need to I'm going to take my rudder off, my Boondocks aluminum rudder, straighten it out again, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but your boy is a fucking idiot. And he bent it again. So I'm going to try and fix that, or I'm going to replace it. I love that rudder. It's awesome. It makes maneuvering that kayak so much better. There's been so this time of year, it's weird. We always talk about how like, I'm getting the itch to go and fish, and that is for sure. But there's a couple of things that are going on in the Northeast that kind of the planning for the future is happening for sure. Expo season's coming up. We got some stuff to talk about there.
Season's coming up.
So we had as far as like planning, Drew Gregory, of course, is planning for 2025's Kayak Adventure Series, and we're gonna be partnering with Kayak Adventure Series as far as the promotions and information, kind of getting the word out there. Of course, we're gonna have Drew on here and there to talk. Hey, anytime you want to put a Bassmaster Award winner on the show, hey, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah,
and especially Drew more than anybody else, because Drew is he's a real one. So we're gonna go ahead and do some shit as far as promoting the show, keeping you guys up to date on some of the information. The dates are just starting to drop now. He had asked me about doing some. He's got Brad Hicks working as like his media contact now. Brad from over on the Catch, and he was talking with me about doing fishy trivia again and trying to do like redemption at the Susky. I think I might enter some of those, man.
That'd be awesome.
I might. I'm not going to, if they're super heavily river focused, if there isn't a lake or a pond that I can go and actually just send it to, I'll probably skip that spot. But I think that might be a fun way to get around. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be doing it with the Lund. I'm going to be doing it with the Titan. But like, I love that style of fishing. And I'm down for the hang, of course. That's a big part of it for me. That's a big part of, like, if I'm going to go and do any of these, it's going to be where there's folks that I know that are getting together, or folks that I've wanted to meet up with. It's a good excuse to go and do it. So I'm considering doing it just for shits and giggles. I love Matt Souter's take on it. He's like, yeah, we're going to go and we're going to enter and we're going to fish, but like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go and do it just to participate, really, more than anything.
100%.
If I can catch some great fish, wonderful. But like, that is so like it's secondary or even further down the line for me. So that could be really cool. But like, regarding expos, I was talking with Matt over at Hanks Marine, right? And I got to talk to you about this because I told you about the Lund being good and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't tell this whole story. So I was over at Hanks and I bring the boat in, we get it into the workshop, and I didn't see Hank. I didn't see Matt's bulldog, Hank, anywhere. We get into the workshop, and there's like this little room. Have you ever been in there, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you know that little like room. It's out right up in the front. Like it could have been used as a tool crib or something at one point or another.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's really like nothing in there. And he goes, you want to see something funny? He goes, look at this. And he goes, see all the fucking marks around the side of the room, like where his head is? That dog likes to eat the wall. Like, and he was actively doing it. I was watching him. I was like, holy shit.
What the fuck?
And he's like looking around, and the door's open. He's like, come here, Hank, come here. And I was like, come on, Hank, come here. I love that dog. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
Like, he's so chill and just so much freaking personality. And he's looking over at me, and he's like, no, it's Wall. It's Wall time. Come on. And I noticed that there's an outlet right there. And I know what you guys are thinking. I noticed there's an outlet there, and I say to Matt, I go, dude, has he ever hit the outlet by mistake? And as I say these words, and I'm looking at him, I see Hank go, shut up. No bullshit. I'm like, he fucking did it right in front of me.
Maybe he won't eat the wall anymore.
I don't think so, because apparently what Matt said is he does it all the time. He does it. He goes, we have to keep the extension cords overhead so we can't get on the edge.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Pavlov's experiment was bullshit.
It really was. It really was. Oh my God.
Oh, that's wild.
But the reason why I bring up Hanks again is that Matt was telling me, he's like, yeah, I guess he and John over at JCS Marine are going to have a booth at the New England Fishing Show. And I'm going to pop into that booth, and I'm going to have the Jigs and Bigs screen display there and be playing some YouTube footage. And actually, Joe, if you want to get me some footage from your channels, send me some of that. We'll put that on a loop and keep that going. And yeah, it'll be pretty cool. And then, episodes and things. And so I'm going to go and pop in and out here and there and stuff and talk with some folks. Jigs and Bigs is going to be at the Springfield Sportsman Show as well, but in like a little bit of a downsized sort of presence. Right. I'm going to set up the booth there, and I'm going to put a display up where we're going to have similar situation where there's going to be the screen running. It'll be running a bunch of videos and, doing all this stuff right there for us. But part of that screen, and this is what's really cool, I have to actually reach out to Mass Wildlife because I'm going to get some numbers and put together a little online quiz, because with OSEG for the Sportsman Show, we are doing an online quiz where you can enter, and we're going to have a variety of prizes from all the exhibitors that are there and putting some cool stuff together. So it'll be pretty interesting. I think we'll have ourselves a good time. And as far as like
what day you plan on going up to New England?
I'm not sure. I think I might actually end up hitting it multiple days.
So I have fucking training that weekend.
Yeah, it's the last weekend of January, isn't it?
January into February.
Yeah.
But I might be able to try to work something weird to to at least get out there Saturday.
Usually, like I know that the Saturday would be the best day for me.
Yeah.
The Friday could be a little bit tricky. Like during the day is all right.
It would be if I did any, it would probably be Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday will be the day that I'll be there, like for sure. Sunday, I'm not sure if that's a brunch week or how my work schedule is that day. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. We'll have ourselves a good time. And then where else was I going with this? What else is going on as far as expos and stuff? No, that's pretty much it as far as all that goes right now. Again, it sucks that I can't go to Columbus. That's the worst.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to be able. I'm still trying to work it. The logistics of it are a little squirrely, but I'm definitely going to Columbus. But I was hoping to get down to Harrisburg. Beforehand, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing it with everything going on because I got a trip for work coming up at the end of February as well.
All right.
Tough one. Go down to Key West for a week.
Oh man.
But for work, yeah.
God. That's horrible.
Yeah, I know it's real tough. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to swing going down any earlier, just with the logistics of home and work and whatever. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Is just wing it and see how it goes. But
dude, the Harrisburg show for fishing sucks. It's the biggest expo. Like it's an outdoor expo, but the fishing area blows.
It's tough with a lot of those, like when they lump so many different niches into one show like that. Like I get it, but it's like whatever the dominant one is, that's your main interest, and it's tough, And
you have all the big gun makers there, like with these their booths are half the size of the entire New England Expo. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll work something out.
No, I hear that. I freaking definitely hear that, man. So, yeah, not the fishiest week, but I'll tell you, a damn good one. A damn good one, and I'm stoked to have some good bibs on the way, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's go ahead. Let's shift gears and get into these headlines, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so I got a couple stories here. The first one, Bobby, we're going to talk about is actually the one that you brought to my attention.
Okay.
Let me see here. Let me just make sure I'm on the right one. I am not on the right one. Got to click back into it. Here we go. All right, so this one comes out of Connecticut, so very local to us.
Oh, yeah.
Fines issued after canine finds 34 illegally caught fish buried in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Buried in the woods. So a group of anglers were fined nearly $5,000 after Connecticut Fish and Wildlife officials say they buried over 30 striped bass in the woods in an apparent attempt to hide the poaching from law enforcement. State Environmental Conservation Police said they were patrolling the Housatonic River for striped bass poaching activity on December 17th when they found a group of 6 anglers fishing. While watching the group, officers said they saw one of the anglers carrying something heavy into the woods across the street.
Yep.
They were seen coming out a few minutes later, empty-handed, and continued to fish. When the ENCON officers approached the anglers, they learned 2 did not have fishing licenses, and they allegedly told police they hadn't caught any striped bass. However, officials said when they deployed Canine Luna, who is an adorable yellow lab here in the picture, she located 4 separate bags of striped bass, each buried in the ground and covered with leaves in the woods by the roadside, spanning length of roughly 75 yards. The bags held a total of 34 striped bass, ranging from 12.5 inches to 25 inches, which violated the striped bass slot limit of 28 to 31 inches, according to officials. The fish were seized and donated to a nonprofit wildlife rehabber. In total, the anglers had 64 striped bass violations, in addition to 2 license violations. And con officials said the group was issued $4,974 in fines.
Which, if that 4,000 is divided amongst like whatever the group was, let's say
like
four
a
anglers.
cumulative,
Yeah. I don't think that was like nearly enough. What I would expect for poaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's per angler. Who knows?
I mean, I was going to say, hopefully they lose their license and stuff like that, but apparently they don't give a fuck about that anyway, because, you know, 2 of them didn't even have their license.
That's true, too. Yeah, if they didn't have their licenses. Like, that's just the fucking worst, man. It's like, you know, and I'm glad that they got caught. I know this kind of stuff happens, like, all the time, and it goes without even being noticed sometimes.
Sure.
You know, but it's like, I'm glad they at least got caught. And that was something where, like, I think I scrolled on that on, like, Facebook. And I was like,
that was the original story you sent me.
Yep. I'm like, I'm going to send that over because it was, dude, that's super shitty. And hey, good for them. You know, I'm glad they got caught.
Yeah, a couple of, they got caught. Unfortunately, that, you know, probably 10% of those who actually do that bullshit get caught.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
But
that's the worst.
Yeah, it sucks. But, you know, they got caught. That's what they get. And, you know, on to the next.
Facts.
All right. So you ready for this one, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm curious. What is this one?
This one is kind of stirring up the tournament bass fishing world right now as of today.
Okay.
BASS shutters Bassmaster Open's co-angler program.
Oh,
no more co-anglers. The long-standing co-angler program within the Bassmaster Opens has been eliminated for the 2025 season. Bass announced today, due to multiple reasons, including fairness to the field of boaters and reduced interest since COVID, the program has been stopped. Co-anglers have been a staple in the Bassmaster Open since the inception of the league. Not only did these anglers get to compete for great prizes, but they were able to learn from veteran anglers while competing. When COVID struck our nation in 2020, the number of anglers signing up to compete as a co-anglers diminished due to state restrictions and general health concerns during that time. Excuse me. The numbers have remained low since. Last year, boaters expressed concerns that there was a fairness issue if they had a co-angler. And I can't wait to talk about this after because I've dealt with it. And competed against a portion of the field who did not have co-anglers. Out of an abundance of caution to maintain the integrity of the sport for the open boaters, the elimination of co-anglers became a topic of discussion. This concern, paired with the reduction of non-boaters since 2020, led to the final decision. It was a tough call, said Hank Weldon, Bassmaster Open Tournament Director, but now that we have a home for our co-anglers in the new Bass Nations qualifiers, it just makes sense.
Okay.
These avid anglers will still have the opportunity to compete at a high level, and our Opens pros will be able to pursue their dreams in a league that couldn't be more fair or more competitive. The 2025 Bassmaster Opens will kick off at Clarks Hill Reservoir on January 23rd to 25th, while first Bass Nations qualifier will be held in Pickwick on March 12th.
Okay.
So let's talk about this one for a minute.
Yeah.
So I had this issue, I don't want to call it an issue, but I'm going to call it an issue.
Okay.
Me being a very introverted person, the last thing I want is someone I don't know on my boat with me, especially during a tournament.
Yeah.
When I did the championship last year for ABA, there was, 250 boaters. There was only like literally less than 30 co-anglers, non-boaters. And of course, I fucking pull one for day one. And
I think you told me about this.
So the dude was the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But what made it even a little bit more squirrely is he didn't qualify as a boater to hit the championship. So he went in as a co-angler. The dude had a boat.
Oh, he just played it as a way to be in.
He played the system.
The system because he was able to really.
Yeah, and like for me, it's like when I fish a tournament, a solo tournament. If I have a partner, I pick my partner. I know my partner. We typically have a game plan and we go at it. it's like some dude you never met before. You don't know how they fish, how well they fish, what their experience of fishing is. Now you're like, it's like it's like you're forced to have company at your house that you don't want.
Yep.
And so I am like, when it comes to this right here in this co-angler program being shut down, I am okay with it.
Yeah.
I am okay with it. I know, that a lot of people might not agree or like that, but it just kind of, that's just my take on it for several reasons. When you're at that front of the boat and that person's on the back of the boat, number one, you're hoping that they are taking care or respecting your boat the same way that you do.
Of course.
Two, now instead of having 2 full live wells to ensure that I keep my fish lively in that aspect, now I have to put all my 5 fish into one side and their 5 fish into another. Now the livability of those fish diminishes because they're all crammed into one to one side of my live well.
Yeah, you've got one piece of real estate now cut in half.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like, so now you have a person where, I have a game plan and there's probably no harm meant by it, but now they're like, oh, do you think we should try this spot or that spot? It's like in the rules, it shows you're supposed to give a certain amount of time to the co-angler to come up with their own spots.
Oh, I got you. So they're not just following where you go for the entire time.
Right.
You've got to take their
you're
input.
supposed to.
That's
and
tough.
like, it's like, I didn't fucking sign up for this.
No.
So like, so now my game plan changes, but those other 210 boats that don't have a co-angler can do their exact game plan. Don't have to worry about any of this shit. So
that's rough.
I mean, luckily, and again, the guy was the nicest guy in the world. I only had him for a day, but so now I have to worry about all this bullshit, hoping that he respects my boat. He respects my, my method of fishing.
Yep. Now let me ask you this. When you pre-fish, do you have to pre-fish with that co-angler?
Dude, you don't even find out you have a co-angler until the night before.
So why fucking ever pre-fish? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go and do your thing. You find out the night before. You're like,
you get a text.
Cool.
You get a text of your boat number, your launch time, your return time, and whether you have a co-angler or not.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So How
the fuck does a co-angler then pre-fish?
They don't?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So why on earth would I fucking allow? So if I've put, like, let's say a few days or let's put umpteen hours into a body of water and I've got a plan, why would I fucking give any sort of credence to what the co-angler's telling me if they haven't fished in like those recent conditions? That's tough.
So it's like almost like
a handicap.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so now it's just that there's so many aspects to it that, like it said in there, that just like diminishes the fairness between the people that don't have a co-angler.
See, I think to make it fair, I think they should refund half your entry fee if you have a co-angler. You're using half of your boat. You have half the live well.
Yep.
You've got to give, I think, I'm like, well, hey. Throw me back half my entry fee. Keep me in for the full amount.
And they say, they're like, oh, it's proper for the co-angler to help with gas and stuff like that. Like, so it's like, okay, so hopefully this guy, like, this guy throws me a 20 when I burn fucking $130 worth of gas. You know what I mean? Then he's like, and he didn't use any of my shit, nor did he ask, or did I offer?
Yeah, of course.
But still, dude, when I have a tournament, I have everything laid out in a specific way. Dude, I had to give him, I had to take a bunch of shit out of one of my, and
I guarantee you are such a nice guy that he probably had no idea that in your mind you were like, who the fuck is this guy?
He had no clue.
Yeah.
He had no clue that I did not fucking want him there.
That's amazing.
Dude, so it's like, so I have to take shit out of one of my fucking storage bins, and so he could put his fucking shit in there, and so now I'm sitting on my deck with all the shit in my arms because
I have before.
Dude,
Yeah.
the morning of the tournament, because I didn't know how much shit this dude was bringing.
Yeah. That.
So I'm like, he's like, hey, you got an extra storage for this? And I'm like, no. So I'm like, so now I'm like, with all my fucking rain gear and shit, or all my shit like in my arms. Now I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I'm gonna put this, and like I just have everything set up a certain way. So now I got all this fucking guy, all his tackle bags and lunchbox, like stepping over. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Oh Jesus!
So
Christ.
yeah, so
and that was at the championship.
This was at the championship, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, so it's like, luckily I have not had a co-angler. That was my first co-angler. I've gotten lucky to where I hadn't pulled one during this.
Yeah, that's
because
nice.
you don't see them very often. You'll see maybe two. And I don't agree with that. I don't like it. And this is going to sound wicked petty, and it actually makes me sound like a wicked asshole. But it's not my fucking fault you don't have a boat.
No, it's definitely not. And you know what? The thing is this. I think that you have to keep a level playing field. I think that if you're going to allow 20 boats to do a tournament, you need to have 20 co-anglers, and that's just got to be part of it, because then at least it's even. So I can understand where BASS is like, listen, the interest isn't there the way that it was. You know what I mean? Like, things have happened. I don't really know that there's an issue like that you could say it was directly related to COVID. Yes, with like state regulations and stuff like that.
I think they're reaching with that one. They're just trying to justify, because they knew people. But it's like, oh, sorry, the 30 of you that fucking come out and actually compete are going to be mad. Okay,
yeah, that's the thing. I think that I think that if you're going to allow, co-anglers for any of these types of events, I think you got to put one on every single boat. And I'm sure nobody fucking wants that to be the situation, but think about it. If you're the guy that pulls a co-angler for that one tournament, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be that much better if just going into it, you knew that's how it had to be? You know? And I knew this comment was coming. Cheryl goes, I kayak fish. Oh, okay. So I thought she was going to be like, this is why I fish in fucking kayak tournaments. She goes, I kayak fish, but I would love to do more boats. Super shy of getting into that, because either I have to enter as a co. I've fished that way before, and I realized the issues that I'm the guest and also paid gas. That's the whole thing. Like, I feel like I always kind of thought that, like, a co-angler was like a teammate. And then I was blown away when I was like, you're competing against somebody?
Yeah.
Like that.
In my boat.
That is insane. Like, I think, like, if you want to be a co-angler, I think you need to be like a free agent and partner with somebody and do a two-man team trail or something like that.
Yeah. Here was a while. So I think with the BASS Opens, at least how they was the co-anglers were a completely separate deal. So with the way ABA had it, at least at the time, and I think it's still how it is, we're all in the same field. So I'm competing against that guy, but if you're like the top co-angler, there's a separate, prize for you guys.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So like, the one thing that blew my mind, and again, I can't say this enough, the dude was the nicest fucking guy on the planet. Course. He hooked into the first fish, and you know what he says to me?
Oh God, what did he say?
Can you grab the net?
Oh.
I'm like, I'm not netting your fucking fish. I was like, there's the net. I was like, yeah, but I'll let you use my net.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not netting that for you. I was like, if I going down and net it, I'm stabbing the fucking line on purpose.
That's insane.
And again,
Cheryl goes, no, I would never say that.
Like, I was
hand
baffled.
me the net. I think would be about as far as you can ask.
Yep. And he actually apologized later on. He goes, yeah, he's like, I can't.
He says, listen, Captain Cookboy, Jay Manning, you are the bad for a reason.
Yeah, it's
true.
That one blew my mind. And thank God out of the 3-day so like I struggled day one too, and I think I was kind of off my. Thank God I pulled it together day two in order to qualify to go into day three.
I remember that.
But,
yep.
Yeah, but Oh, dude, I was like all out of sorts because like me, like especially when I had the Skeeter, a much faster boat than I have now.
Yep.
I drive that thing like an absolute fucking animal.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I can't do that because I have some dude that I don't know that I'm like, oh well, if I kill this guy, he's like, people are not gonna be happy with me.
Of
And
course.
if I live, I don't care if I fucking flip out of the boat and the thing sinks, but I'm gonna look like a real asshole if I flip this guy out. And you know,
For sure. That
So
poor
now-
co-angler.
yeah, exactly. He just wanted to go out and fish.
had no business doing what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
dude, even that they're on the national qualifier, that they're still on there.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. I still don't get it with ABA. It's as a boater,
Yep.
it's something that irks the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see why.
If I was a co, I guess probably I would have, but as if I would never be a co because I would feel like bad and embarrassed.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of my hot take on it. Probably, you know, a lot of people are probably going to super disagree with me, but they just.
I think that the people who would disagree would be the people who primarily are aspiring to be in that co-angler role. You know,
Sure.
So that they're able to compete at such and such a level. And I totally get it. It's interesting. Like Cheryl goes, co-angler doesn't always mean team. And that's true. Like that's 100% true. I think that most of us, when we think that we see two people on a boat fishing, it doesn't logically make sense to think that they're fishing against one another.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I guarantee you that's 90% of the
Yeah.
people that don't know how it works.
Yeah, they don't
think
realize
that
that.
if you pull a co-angler, now you have a teammate. No.
Yeah.
No, now you're forced to have somebody on you're forced. You don't have a choice. If
Yeah.
you get pulled for the co-angler, you have to do it or you get disqualified from the tournament.
It's amazing.
So like it's like Bob. It's like some dude walking down the street, knocking on your door, be like, "Hey, I'm coming to have dinner and drinks with you." And there's nothing
Yeah.
you can't say
You're
no.
like,
You're like,
all right, sounds great.
Come on in, I guess.
allergies. You know?
Make yourself comfortable. You know, and that's kind of how I feel about it. And it was like, and you guys, I mean, and you, a lot of you guys know, Bobby, you know, and a lot of these people, like, I'm a very introverted person. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I have my small circle of people. Like, if I invite you on my boat to fucking come fish, it's because I like you and I want
Yeah.
you to be on there.
Yep.
But I also fish a lot by myself for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
So it's a wild concept to
And
me.
it does sound like there is still a place for the co-angler to be involved, but
Yeah.
it's not at that like straight up open level. Like it sounds like
Yeah.
the qualifier trail or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah,
is-
whatever. That's a new one. Joey, you like oh, I'm a little wired. I'm not mad. I'm just passionate. That's what.
Yeah.
One of the dudes I work with, the grumpiest dude who's always mad all the time. We
Yep.
were like, oh, dude, he's not mad. He's just passionate today.
That's exactly what it is. He's so passionate about that tire or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's fucking awesome.
So yeah, that's it. But last thing I will say, and what people listening have to understand, maybe they don't, the Bassmaster Opens
Yeah.
or what you have to compete in to become an elite
That's the
angler
gateway
in the
right
elite
there.
series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like,
Yep.
so if you have a competitor on your boat that you're responsible for and you have to take their input into consideration,
Yeah.
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
that's
these
nuts.
guys, this is their livelihood. Like
Yep.
they have a ton of money out on the line. Like me going to ABA, like, yeah, whatever. Like I don't have not nearly as much. These guys have so much on the line, like tens of thousands of dollars they've put into this.
Oh, yeah. Cheryl Bentley goes, I'd feel the same way, Joe, if I had a boat. Not unreasonable. Different times and places for certain situations at all.
Yeah.
Is all. Yeah, I could get behind that.
Yep.
You know?
Like I love fishing partner tourneys, dude. Like the one I just did with Zach.
Yeah,
We had a fucking
that's
blast.
awesome.
You and I did the tournament together, had a
Yep.
blast. I love doing those.
Those are great.
but I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, and you pick
know
the
what
person.
I mean? It's like, and we're competing together.
Yep.
As a team, not against one another.
Yeah, then it's more of an asset than anything else, and that's the whole thing too. It's like with that situation. Oh yeah, speaking on the guy who was on your boat as a boat, what didn't qualify as a boat owner, like that. The whole trip could just be like, whoa, let's see how Joe fishes. So I can figure that out and then, take that into consideration. Yeah. He qualified. Let's see what he's doing. If there's anything that I can learn. And are any of these other guys doing this? So maybe that's like the racket, where damn.
I'll tell you one thing. I didn't let him look at the live scope or anything.
Oh, hell no.
Dude, what really pissed me off is he had more weight than me that day.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was like, you motherfucker.
That sucks. Because and it's funny too, because it's like I understand fully that the size of the fish that you're catching is just you cannot know which fish is going. Like you could live scope a bunch and see a big one, but what those fish are going to eat, that's like on them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's shitty because I can understand you being mad about it, but at the same time, like you're also got to be thinking to yourself, like I'm a fucking idiot. Why am I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could those fish 100% could have bit your hook, and it's fucked because you're just like fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look at Jay making me look bad. Fuck you, Jay.
What did Jay say? I have respect for people who can compete in those tournaments and do well. It's really intimidating.
No, it's the next one. It's the next one.
Cheryl, if you ever need a coat, you're welcome to join on the Renegade.
Cheryl, you're always welcome on my boat, and you and I will fun fish together.
Yeah.
Not compete.
John Higgins goes, too bad you can't tie an inflatable dinghy behind your boat for the co-angler. Go, hang on, buddy, we're going fishing. You know what's funny, John? I was thinking about that when you were like, oh, I got to clear out space to store his stuff. I go, no, 2 inner tubes and some duct tape with like a bungee and just tie it to one of the cleats and just let it float behind you, Yeah. Be real nice and get him a dry bag. Just sandwich in between the inflatables. Oh, yeah.
The last thing I will say on it, Bobby, and we'll move on.
Yeah.
When you pull your number for the at least like the smaller ABA tournaments or even the championship, when someone finds out they have a they're not like, oh fuck yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Every single person's like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? Yep. I love you, Jay. I know you weren't. I love you, buddy. I wasn't
breaking your balls.
I love you, bud.
Oh man, it's tough. I've spoken with a lot of anglers who have been a co-angler before and have been in that program, and it's one of those things where the ambition's there. You want to compete. You want to be involved in an organization, regardless of the level. Like most people I've talked to, it's been smaller, smaller local trails or regional trails, and that's what it is. They want to be a co-angler. They're like, I want to get in on this as fast as I can, and then when I get a boat, I'll go and do my own thing. And I think those are probably the boat owners that have a difference of opinion. Sure. When they've been that co-angler before, and they're like, yeah, I've had to be on somebody's boat, and I realize that they didn't necessarily want me there or anything else. So their perspective is going to be a bit different. But if you're not one of those folks that's used to this, then I could totally understand where it would be like a big Debbie Downer to be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me see what I can do. All of a sudden, look who's coming to dinner. You know what I mean? It's a mess.
Exactly.
It's a mess. Dude, that's crazy. I don't think we have anything else for the rest of segment 1.
No, I need to go. I need to go take a fucking Prozac now.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna go sign on to BetterHelp and see if I can work some of this shit out right here. That's what I do when you guys see me out here and it looks like I'm typing. I'm just with my therapist. I'm like, I haven't fished in 3 weeks. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, maybe you need to find some other hobbies. And I'm like, maybe it's time to fucking find a new therapist. Anyway, I'm letting you guys into the fourth wall, and it's not a good place. It's not a healthy place for anybody. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and we've got Adjust the Tip. We've got an FTG, and I think, do we have a Gear of the Week? I don't even know what we're going to talk about. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think we have a Gear of the Week.
Yeah, I don't think we really have a Gear of the Week necessarily. I want to wait before I start talking, because I do have a conversation I want to have about apparel specifically. And, a gripe with the apparel industry, and I'm saying this as a short, fat man. Get ready, world. Get ready. We'll be back in a bit. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form podcast content. We need to thank Dark Horse Tackle, Omnia Fishing, A-Bay Lure, The Bay House, and The Ship Motel. We can't forget about Three Bells Outfitters, Torres Sunglasses, and of course, Reaction Tackle. Be sure to check the description of this podcast for any associated affiliate links or promo codes they've generously provided our listening audience. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks. Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the impeccable taste in fishing podcasts. Bobby Roast Beef here with a little call to action for all Jigs and Bigs listeners. We're opening up our hotline to you. Now you can call us to sound off about almost anything at 413-324-8519. Want to submit someone for our FTG segment? Call us at 413-324-8519. Care to maybe suggest a topic for Just the Tip or Bait of the Week? Call us at 413-324-8519. Maybe you just want to give us or anyone else a little shout out on the show, or you want to suggest a guest for the beef seat. You guessed it. Call us at 413-324-8519. The Jigs and Bigs hotline is there for you to leave a message with us 24/7. Just call 413-324-8519. Also, you can check that number in the notes of this podcast.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. Just the tip for you, Jigs and Bigs. We got some information, and over the last week or two, I had been talking with a lot of people about different apparel, and I mean, here we are, we're in winter. Today, actually, as we record this, is winter solstice. Tonight is the longest night of the year, which means happy day. Each day from here on out going forward, we'll get more and more sunlight very, very slowly, but it's happening. So we're on the upswing now. This is good.
We're almost out of it. We're almost the off season.
I'm just trying to stay positive. But one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm looking at the way I'm layering my clothes while I'm on the boat. Now, when I'm bank fishing, it's a little bit different because I'm much more active when I'm bank fishing. I am moving. I'm walking and changing spots constantly. So a lot of the time when I'm bank fishing, I'll layer up, and it's a little bit different than when I'm fishing on the boat. This is where the bibs come in. And I think it's important to pay attention to your choice in layers and the method of layering your clothing to keep you dry, warm, and safe when you're out doing any kind of outdoor activity whatsoever. So let's kind of go through some of this right now. It's like when you're out fishing in cold weather, using a layering system to stay warm and comfortable is probably your best bet. And the reason is this: you want to start with a moisture-wicking base layer to keep sweat off of your skin. That's going to cause a ton of really loss of heat more than anything. So having something that's going to wick your any sweat away and keep you dry, or at least dry faster, it's going to be better off all around. You want to follow by an insulating mid layer, something that's like fleece or down. You want to retain your body heat using that, and then you want to top it off with something that's waterproof and windproof as an outer layer to shield you against the elements: rain, snow, wind. At all costs, you want to avoid cotton because it retains the most moisture moisture, and it totally loses its insulating properties when it's wet. Instead, look for either synthetic or wool materials to stay dry and warm throughout your fishing adventures, whatever they may be. The reason why I bring up, what it is that you're doing, if you start with a good synthetic base layer and, a decent, like I'll give you an example of how I'll go out when I'm bank fishing. I'll put on, if it's really cold, and I'm talking about if it's below, air temp is like below 35 degrees or so, something like that, and there's a little bit of wind, I will generally put on a full base layer, top and bottom, and it's like synthetic material. It's usually like a Carhartt, like 1/4 base layer that I'll use, and that will keep me surprisingly warm. Putting that on under, whatever I'm wearing. So like I might be wearing a pair of jeans and a pair of boots with wool socks. That will generally be okay for me when I'm bank fishing. My upper layer, what I'll do is I'll put on another, like a mid layer. So that might be something like my Reaper hoodie, something like that. And then I'll throw another layer on top of that, which will be like my outer layer, my jacket. And generally, I find that will absolutely work for me. But I noticed this year on the boat, it was a little bit different. Number one, on the boat, I think being that, and Joe, you could probably either support this point or maybe play counterpoint to it. But I find that because you don't have the cover of whatever's on the bank, like trees or hills or anything like that, if you've got the wind hitting you, it's colder there than it is anywhere else. And because you're not as active, like the only real walking I'm doing on the boat, the only movement I'm doing is going from the casting deck down to the main floor to like grab a piece of tackle or, change out a rod, or if we're changing spots, like it's much more, it's much less movement. So I don't have to worry so much. Like if I'm out fishing on the bank and I'm changing spots, a good example is like a place like Wachusett, where most places that you're going to go there, you have to walk a significant mile in, like a couple of miles. Yeah. I generally won't wear my outer layer. Like I'll tie it to my backpack and walk out with it. And then when I get there and I get to fishing and I'm like, okay, I'm fishing like this one big point and I'm not hiking through the woods at this point. Then I'll pop that on. What you really want to avoid is sweating. That's the big one. You want to avoid sweating anytime. And for your boy Bobby Roast Beef, that is not easy because he is a fat piece of shit, and the man can sweat in a snowstorm. So that is a lot of like removing your hat, ditching a layer, something like that, and it's all about managing. And that's why layers work, because you're like, oh shit, I'm exerting myself. I got to cool down. Let me take off this jacket, or let's ditch this mid layer for a little bit. Cool down a little bit, and then I can layer back up to kind of insulate what I've got, and you'll be good to go. And that's a big part of the reason why I was like, I want to start with bibs. I've got a great outer layer as far as a jacket. If I find like I need, and I'm probably going to end up getting the matching because I'm like I said, I'm a slut for AFCO.
And it, like if you have even the slightest bit of OCD, you're going to want the matching top.
Well, and in a lot of ways too, like I have the jacket that I use is the AFCO Reaper jacket. And I like it because it's got like waterproof zippers. It is relatively water resistant. So in a light rain, it's no problem. In a heavy rain, you've got about 2 hours before you're going to get soaked. And it's just going to happen. Like when I went to North Carolina and I fished at Jordan with the Paul from Bass and Brews. When we were out there, we got out there and the rain was relatively light. I was like, okay, this is no big deal. And I was layered up exactly that same way with the thermal underneath. And I mean, it was probably about 35 degrees. And I got maybe 2.5 hours, and I was like soaked all the way through. I was like, holy shit, shivering and stuff. And I was like, this is bad. Like at one point I got up, I went back into the truck, cranked up the heat, sat there, tried to dry out a little bit. It was rough. And we got back to camp, and that's the first thing I did was I changed out all my clothes and I put them in the truck and let it run with the heat on high to get that dry air going. It's another reason why I want to get a diesel heater. for exactly
Yes.
that reason, so I can hang up my garments, get them dry inside the truck nice and quick, and then be good to go. But I was able to, I had another hoodie, I had another, another base layer. I was able to swap everything out, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm good. I'm good now. But yeah, it was rough. Like I was like, there's videos somewhere. I don't know if I included it in anything, but because I was swearing a bunch, dude. I was like, fuck this place, which you would think I wouldn't care about putting on the internet. But I was like, this was like swearing where I was like, I was at the end. I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah.
I was hiding under a bridge at one point just to get out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and it was rough. So you got to plan for these things, and layering. There's no denying. There are some people who are just like, oh, I don't like layering. The problem is this: if you go and you get like a giant parka, like huge parka, it's big and heavy and everything, and then you exert yourself.
Yep.
And you take that off, you're gonna cool down. It's not gonna be a good cool down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dude, we're up here in New England, so.
Yeah.
You can't, you have, I mean, in order to, because you never know what kind of weather you're going to get, especially in the beginning. I mean, fishing, essentially, planning on fishing throughout the winter, and those of us who, start our tournaments early season, if you don't layer, you risk putting yourself in a really like precarious situation to where you're going to be extremely
is a real issue.
Yeah,
You'll be very uncomfortable at the very least.
Exactly. And especially in the beginning, what's one thing people don't kind of take into account, and I've seen this happening. Like, it hasn't really happened to me when it's like super cold, but you're being on a bass boat around cold water.
Yep.
In big water, where you have the potential to have big waves and waves come up over the front.
Oh yeah.
No one thinks about their footwear.
Oh yeah.
And I've been seeing it on some videos. I've had it happen to me before, but when it was warm out.
Yeah.
But dude, you have to kind of caveat to like kind of a little addition to this tip is like those hook rubber boots or something like that. Like you gotta wear those, because if you plan on being in big water, dude, like, and that water comes up over that bow, which in bass boats it will, if you're in big enough water, there's nothing worse than, like, I would rather be soaked on my top end all day than have fucking wet cold feet. While fishing and standing up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a quick thing that I just thought of that also takes into account, because and it's I'll take that even a step further. This just recently happened to me, and it was not a big deal at all. It was the last time I think Paul and I had fished the river, and as I was launching the boat, I was kind of lax and I overstepped a little bit, and I wore muck boots when I launched the boat. Yep. And I got a tiny little trickle of water that ran down in the boot. Like I'll bet you it was a tablespoon. It's all it fucking takes, dude.
That is 100% all it takes. And I knew that. So I was like, when I got in the truck and I pulled the truck out, because what I do is, like, whenever I'm going out on the boat, usually what I do is I wear in the winter, man, and actually even all year, I'll say this, I think wool socks are the greatest thing on earth. They just
I agree too.
Wool socks are the greatest thing on earth. Like, I might change the level of like heft, to them throughout the year, but I think they are absolutely amazing. So like in the winter when it's cold, I'll put my wool socks on and everything, and I usually go out in like jeans, and I want to change that. I want to start wearing something that's totally synthetic. So that's where last week I think I mentioned the Under Armour full synthetic sweats, and I'm like, that's the mid layer, that's perfect. And I was like, all right, so that'll work out great. Well, usually what I do is I'll throw my Crocs on and I'll drive with the Crocs on.
Yep.
Yes, Crocs with socks. I'm a loser. I get it. And I'll drive with those, because driving with muck boots sucks. It's terrible.
Oh, it's the fucking worst,
it's
dude.
Awful. Like, it's a move the truck situation, not a drive to a destination situation.
So in your Toyota, is it? I don't think I've driven my Ram with muck boots on, because you do it on occasion, especially like if you're just moving the vehicles around, shoveling, whatever. Do you have the instances where you go to hit the gas, but the boot is so wide it hits the gas and the brake at the 100%.
Same time? Yep, okay. Power braking it right there. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Yep.
It is tricky. You got to be real deliberate about where you put your foot.
Yeah. Yep.
So what I did was I was like, okay, I got a little bit of water in my foot. I'm going to do this. I took my Crocs with me. I walked along the dock. I jumped in the boat. I immediately took my boots off and put them off to the side, upside down, so that way they wouldn't get wet in case there was any water or anything. And then I left my Crocs on, and because of the holes there, my sock was able to dry. By the time we got back after we fished for like 4 hours, my sock was dry. Yeah. So I was like, all right, this is cool. And it was like a sun overhead. Like, it was a good day. I wasn't even wearing my outer shell. I was just wearing my hoodie. And I was totally comfortable. It worked out unbelievably well. But it's like, having not even having the right shoes, but having a backup so that way you can put something on the dry is also not a bad idea.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. And and what people in New England, everyone, at least everyone in the boat realm, especially like the tournament realm, you layer and don't even realize it, because pretty much throughout the entire tournament season, maybe with like the exception of like July.
Yeah.
When you're going out there, dude, you're still wanting to wear like a hoodie and sweatpants with shorts underneath, and then you rip them off. You rip them off like once the sun finally comes up, because we're in New England, dude. It's fucking still 50 degrees in the morning. You know 100%. What I mean? Like how often is it fucking? Have you ever seen it stay 80 the entire fucking 24 hour spam?
No, it's going to fluctuate.
You know what I mean?
Yep. For sure. Yeah. And I mean, especially like, when you're like motoring to a spot, and you're fucking up cold, on plane, it's fucking cold. It really is. Even at like 30 miles an hour, like, it gets fucking chilly. You're like, holy fucking shit.
I think Zach was humbled real quick.
Yeah.
When we launched for that tournament up at St. Lawrence River, it was 28 degrees.
Oh yeah.
And we had a 40-minute run, dude.
That's nuts. Dude.
And with the Icon, I didn't get the passenger console this time.
So he was getting blasted in the face with fucking wind the whole time.
I felt bad. I didn't say anything, but I actually legitimately felt bad.
Was his beard doing the bad guy from fucking Sonic?
Yep. Where it naturally split in half, and it's like behind him, dude. Yeah, it did. I probably have fucking footage of it.
Oh, yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Cheryl chimes in here. She goes, I agree. Layers are the key to comfort. I make second layer wool or alpaca. It soaks any sweat from synthetics, but barriers from the outer layers. Best outer layers have zipper vents to help with this. Zipper vents are wicked helpful. Like, they usually put them under the arms like that, and it'll allow things to vent. I will tell you this. Wool is great. Dude, alpaca is amazing.
Tough to find.
Very tough to find.
And it's fucking expensive.
That's the problem. It's very expensive. I remember, okay, so this is going in the depths. I remember when I was a degenerate, this is going back about 20 years ago. I'm still a degenerate, trust me. But I've told this story in multiple parties before. My wife and I have a very interesting story. When my first daughter was born, we were not together. She dumped me for like a good year. And for the first 2 years of my daughter's life, we were separated, my wife and I. We weren't together. In fact, we were in relationships with other people.
This is breaking news for me too, guys. This is breaking.
I told this story on the boat with you and Wild Bill.
Yeah, you did, but you didn't mention that like your daughter wasn't involved in it.
Oh, I didn't. Okay,
you didn't mention that your daughter was born.
So Bobby Roast Beef has known the single dad life. You know what I mean?
You did, yeah.
For
you
a
left
couple
that
of years.
part out.
Oh yeah, it was something. So, but like what I would usually do, because I lived in an apartment that was just. I don't want to say it was like for anything sinister or anything like that. Oh, it wasn't conducive to having kids around. But I had 5 roommates, when I was first living in this one spot. 5 fucking roommates. And we were all either in bands or DJs or just fucking, it was just insanity.
Just a degenerate household.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where there was just so many people. I'm like, if Chloe didn't sleep, and trust me, that was not going to be a problem. She was the best baby ever. I have had her over there for a couple of times. But I would go over to my parents' house, right? Mm-hmm. When I moved out of my parents' house, like they made my bedroom like a guest room. No, actually, my sister's old bedroom was like a guest room, and then my my room was kind of actually that's where the grandchildren went. You know, there was like a little pack and play where they could sleep in there and
That's
stuff.
how it is at my dad's
Changing
house.
table. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I remember, and I bring this up because of alpaca. I remember a number of times, like, you know, I'd put Chloe down for a nap and I'd be like, I'm going to take a nap too. So I'd like, screw this. I just lay her down on top of my chest and I put this alpaca blanket on us. And it was the warmest thing in the world. And it was light as a feather. I cannot recommend alpaca enough if you can find and afford it. Cheryl says that is breaking news. Oh, Cheryl, I'm full of stories.
So it's funny you mentioned the alpaca because like over the last couple years, we are now like not avid. We go once a year to the Big E. Like, we just started like the last 2 years.
Yep.
And they have a big booth there from an alpaca farm that makes like the blankets and shit. And each time, dude, we've almost got left with like one of the big blankets. But like, Meg and I are very cool sleepers where we have to have it like cold and shit in the room. So we're like, you know, so.
I explained just recently to my wife that like, I'm like, there's a system. Like some nights it's a 1 foot out system. Some nights it's a 2 foot out system.
Dude.
And it's all about managing temperature, you know, because I'm one of those weird anomalies where like, I need to have something to put over me. Like even like on the hottest night, like
it's the same for me.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the same for me.
But like I will eat, you know, and my wife's like, you're not afraid this serial killer gonna come and find you and cut your feet off? And I'm like, no, he can fucking have them.
Dude, that's a natural, like, so I've actually read up on it and I can't think of the word right now, but it's having something on top of you is like, it's just something that's like in our like DNA.
Yeah.
It's a natural, just a natural thing that we have.
It's absolutely nuts.
It actually, they say it kind of goes back to, almost back to like the caveman days where they were enclosed within caves, like stuff like that. And that's kind of like, it's just in our DNA that when we are sleeping, we have to have some kind of, just like when dogs still sleep, like some of them like to still sleep in kennels because they're, they're that denning animal. It's the same concept.
Same sort of thing. I mean, we're fucking animals. You know, we are.
That's it. We all are.
It's just fucking hilarious.
We all are. It's crazy.
Right before we started recording the show, I was on my Instagram and one of the old bartenders from where I worked, she popped up and it was like, she shared this reel and it was, what do you mean you're not a Swiftie? And it was like some girl in a car lip syncing to a song and the song was Animals from Nickelback and it caption goes, what I listened to when I was 13 or something like that. I'm like, oh my, that explains everything.
Oh, yeah. Dude. So before we get off the Just a Tip, I have a wicked funny apparel story.
Okay, perfect.
So we had talked about float suits in the past.
Yes.
So for the fucking just being a degenerate, financially irresponsible person that I am, for the 2 times every 5 years I go ice fishing, I decided to buy a $500 fucking float suit.
Of course.
Of course. I also have a fucking Ion fucking $1,000 fucking auger that, from the store, I owned a tackle store, so I inherited some shit.
Of course.
So I'm out ice fishing with my dad, and he has this like 1990 2-stroke fucking ice auger. I had my battery one, and he's like, "Oh, just like fire up mine and go drill a couple holes. Like mine's closer." So I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I fucking, the blades haven't been sharpened since 1990 as well. So fucking. I fire the thing up and I'm drilling these holes and I have to like press down on it and I'm like, oh God, this fucking thing smells like shit. Like there's something wrong with this fucking auger.
Yep.
Oh no, dude. I was fucking burning a hole through my brand new fucking because I was putting my weight on it. So my brand new dude, it was the first time I wore it, dude. I have a fucking there's a hole in it the size of a fucking playing card from fucking burning through. And the whole time I'm doing it, dude, I'm like, God, this thing smells like shit. And then I was like, man, my belly's getting kind of warm.
Like, oh, what the fuck is going on? That's fucking great, dude. The comments,
all because I was
Jay Manning.
All because I was too fucking lazy to walk an extra 25 feet to go get my auger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal, dude. I can't.
Yep.
Wow. I'm I'm floored. I am floored. Yeah, it is crazy with apparel. And Cheryl makes a really good point. She says it is expensive, but it's an investment. It's an upfront cost, like good gear that lasts a long time. And I think that's the thing. You can cut corners, but oftentimes, there's that saying, buy once, cry once. And, every too often than not, in fact, I think it rings true. Sometimes you can get away with cutting a corner here and there or something, but if you're really putting something to the test, and for me, like it was St. Clair. I'm like, I'm going to St. Clair in April. Yeah, it's going to be April, but who knows? What the conditions are like. Am I going to go?
What? It's going to be windy as fuck.
And not only that, like that's fucking big ass water. If it's rains,
big water.
I don't
want. Are you
wanna,
doing your boat? Are you bringing your boat?
I'm doing my boat. Yeah,
you'll be fine. Water's not going to come up over the top.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fine.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking like, do I want to? So I got to get my passport for this because I mapped it out and it's way shorter if I cut through Canada. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I've told my wife and I were like, we got to get our passports and just bite the bullet and do it. I think this week actually we're going to jump on it.
Dude. The fact that you are the age that you are without your fucking passport. Are you kidding me right now?
I know. It's crazy. Well, the only time I ever actually needed it was when we got married, my wife and I. We went to Quebec. We went to Canada.
Yeah.
We went to Montreal is when we went to. And we got our, those, you have the option to
lots
get the
of
card.
Hookers and cocaine.
Oh my God. So many. So many.
No one ever thinks that about Canada.
Nobody
lots
thinks
of hookers
that.
Lots of hookers in Canada, people.
It's true, especially in Montreal. French ones. They have mustache. Anyway, we got the card so that we could travel within North America because, we're not going to Europe anytime soon. Yeah. We're not leaving. We're just not those kinds of travelers or anything. And we let them expire. And we're like, we haven't been to Canada. We've been to Canada once, one other time. No, twice. And it was when we were in Niagara Falls. We went up there. There were twice we were in that area, and we went into Canada.
You just went through like the pedestrian gate or whatever. Or did you drive?
No, we drove. We drove.
Okay.
Yeah, we went because we stayed on the Canadian side for quite some time and did a lot of the touristy stuff. Then came over to the U.S. side, and we're like, huh. All right.
Where you got to pay $1 to come back into the United States. Ever see that?
Great, yeah.
So then you realize you don't have a fucking dollar bill on you. So then you got to walk back to like the little ass gift shop and buy a stupid fucking $19 bottle of fucking maple syrup or something. So you have $1 change.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that $19 bottle of maple syrup is a nip.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Yep. So if you're going to go through the pedestrian gate at Niagara Falls, make sure you have some ones on you.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, and so I think we're just going to do it again. There was talk that I might go to the UK next month for a speed quizzing host meetup, and I wanted to do some pike fishing while I was out there. But it's just perch, pike, carp, all of it. It's a whole other animal, though, over there. Like, you go to a body of water that's privately owned, you pay money, and you fish for those fish. You don't get a license and go.
I've never fished over. I've never.
Yeah.
The only place out of the U.S. I think I fished was Iraq.
Oh, really? What a wild fucking place to fish.
Yep.
That's fucking nuts.
That would be a story from another episode.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, going out all the way out that way and we block out like an entire day to fish and it rains all day, I'm fucking fishing. Like I'm gonna make it happen.
Dude, it's the UK. It's gonna rain all fucking day.
I'm talking about St. Clair.
That's
for sure happening.
Yeah. You got that lake effect shit, dude.
Yeah. It can
that shit
get
usually
funky.
goes west to east though.
Yep.
So you might be all right.
We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting, but yeah.
Fishing with Norby has a good video about St. Clair, a good video series because
really?
all of his MLF ones he does like the practice rounds and the tournament rounds. Yeah. So
okay.
So check it out. Yeah,
I'll check that out. That's awesome. Because I do. I want to get a little bit of research and figure that out. I know that Becca's fished St. Clair before with I forget who it is. Is it Dylan? Is his name Dylan? I forget. But he's got a channel though that I'll be looking at some info about. And I did a little bit of recon looking at where we're staying up there. We're like right on the water.
Oh, that's fucking
Yeah, it's
dope.
going to be really nice. I don't know if there's a slip there, but there is a marina right next to us. So I'm like,
Usually they have rental spots, dude. Fucking
typically
like $20 a day or something stupid.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice. Put something together and send it. But but that was a big trip. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go out totally unprepared. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get the bibs. I'll see how this works. And I'm like, if I really like, you're right. Like the jacket is waterproof. So by then I'll probably have that in tow and then just send the whole thing.
Yep.
Freaking awesome. Let's go ahead and do this FTG because my God.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from Biohazard Bassin. I am calling to put myself as a FTG for this week's show. Let's just say I'm a little bit of a degenerate and I illegally went fishing somewhere and I was having a good time. I caught a couple fish, just wanted to get the stink on my fingers. You know how it is. This time of the year, we had a little bit of a break of some weather. I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can catch something. Put something on the gram. I got 300 followers. It's pretty pathetic, so I got to post some shit. And so I'm just fishing. I'm like, a couple more casts. I caught 2 already. It's great, throw them back in, Anyways, I'm right at the end. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a couple more casts. There's one spot here, and I'm going to leave. Sure as shit, fucking truck is barreling down the fucking road. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, obviously, I'm not supposed to be there. So, yeah, as a 48-year-old man running like a fucking child through the woods, trying to get away from, like, whoever was there. Maybe it was DEP. Maybe it was the water people. I have no idea. I wasn't sticking around to find out. Anyways, I'm running through the fucking woods. I lost my A-Bay fucking lure. It was the one I caught my fish with, which was the perch color. I forgot the name of it. Damn it. Anyways, I love that lure. It's a jerkbait. Yeah, it's a jerkbait. Anyways, I am going and tripping and falling into mud, losing my cell phone, and like my heart's racing like a motherfucker. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm such an idiot. So, you know what? Fuck me for being that guy. I gotta stop doing shit like this. Just try to catch some stupid fish during the wintertime. Anyways, love you guys, and talk to you guys soon. Later.
Kevin, that was fucking awesome, dude. Awesome. There is nothing that makes my life better than somebody calling in an FTG on themselves. Because it is just like, it is the realest real shit that you can get from somebody. And like, dude, I love it. I am going to be using that phrase, getting some stink on the fingers, in everyday conversation. Like when I'm talking to folks that don't fish too often and they're like, what are you doing? I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go out and do a little bit of fishing. I got to get a little bit of stink on the fingers. That's going to be Bobby Roast Beef's new fucking tagline. That might be a fucking bumper sticker, Kevin. Jesus Christ. Jigs and Bigs podcast.
Get a little stink on the fingers.
Fucking hell, dude. That's why the vision of running away through the woods. Just picture the arms flailing.
With bucket rod in hand.
Rod in hand, jerkbait snapping off, and he's like, no.
Dude, walking through the woods with rods blows. Never mind fucking running for your life.
It is. It's the worst, man. It's. I love it though. This is why Cheryl is an absolute like gold mine of positivity. She says it's all about the adventure. LOL. Though I highly recommend a license. Little money for great times. Too funny. I think we've all been there for sure. For sure. And then John Higgins goes, "This is turning out to be a great night. Buckeye basketball team smoke Kentucky. Ooh. So far the Buckeyes football team is beating the brakes off Tennessee. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned it, John, because friends of the show, Andrew Hayes from Tackle Talk and Alex Rudd from Alex Rudd Fishing have a little fucking bet going on that game right now. I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram, but there was a contract that they each signed and each posted on Instagram where the loser has to, I believe, wear the winner's team's jersey on their show or while they're fishing or something like that, or like there's some kind of stakes that are like that friendly stakes, and I am here for that shit all day. I love it. And he says, and most of all, listening to you guys, Bobby and Joe, I love it, dude. I love it.
Appreciate it, John.
Oh man, yeah. So we're gonna have ourselves a fucking time. It's gonna be nuts. That is insane. I think I might get my my Michigan license put in for that. So I wonder if I can get that. I should look into that ahead of time to see if I can schedule it where it's only like a weekend or a short term.
Yeah.
If I can schedule it in advance so that I know that I've got it.
I know in New York you could do that. You could schedule what
you can pick it. Although, you know, it's interesting with the New York one, they do a full 365 days, so it doesn't renew. So if you get it in like October or something, then it's next October. So you're good to go.
You're going to have to get it too, Bobby, because you're not coming to the St. Lawrence River this year.
Oh, yeah. No, that's 100%
I don't fucking care.
Sure.
I don't care.
I think genuinely, you know, if I'm not doing some kind of like a big trip or anything, I would like to go to the St. Lawrence River multiple times to experience it.
It was worth it, dude.
Yeah,
it was worth. I mean, dude, it was like I went 3-4 times this year. I get why it's the fucking the premier top fucking smallmouth fishery in the world.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I gotta.
But it also can beat the brakes off you.
Oh, for sure. You know, 100%. And it's got it's got others like amazing species too. Your pike and muskie.
So that was the problem. Like when I went down there for the Fish or Die tournament, obviously I was there strictly for fucking that. But like we got to talk to Chris to when the fucking the pike and that muskie spawn's going on and go down just for that. Or go up just for that.
Yep.
I know. I mean, we've caught pike, a million pike, but I know muskies on both of our bucket lists. So we gotta fucking do it, dude.
You know, I'll tell you who just put out like within the last handful of weeks, a really good series, a muskie series, is John B.
Really?
Yeah, a Maine muskie series. He was going to try to break the state record. Now in Maine, muskie are like catch them and kill them. Like they don't want them in their waters. Maine is just it's that kind of place.
I didn't know Maine had like a pretty decent. No shit, I didn't know that.
They do. I don't think the state record. I want to say the state record's like a 55. You know, I mean, so it's big, but it's
but it's not like monster muskie,
and they're not like teeming in that water. Like you'll get like a 40 plus, you know, a 45, but you know, I want to say the record's like a 55 inch, which is just
what we got to do.
We
gotta go figure out where ND Yak Angler lives, fucking kidnap him, tell him to stop ignoring all of our fucking messages and take us out fucking fishing.
I'm down. 100%.
That dude's an animal.
Absolutely. Yeah. He is. He's a beast. An absolute.
He's the Bob Ross of fishing.
He really is. I love watching his content. It's so good. I love that he fools around with all types of different species. I don't think I've ever seen a trout run though from him.
No, I don't think so either. No, the primary ones I see are the fucking largemouth, smallmouth, the pike, and the muskie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him fuck around with walleye on occasion.
Yeah. He's right on that edge of like North Dakota and what is it, Iowa there?
Yeah.
That's right
weird.
there. Yeah, I think so. He's like right on that edge where you're in like kind of, and I think Minnesota too.
Yes, Minnesota.
That might be what it is.
Yeah, Minnesota's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
There's a lot of walleye fandom in that area.
Yeah.
Walleye anglers. I've had the opportunity because of this podcast to talk with folks that are, you know, that fish for a little bit of everything. Like I like to fish for a little bit of everything. And I'll tell you, when you meet somebody who fishes for walleye and that's just what they do, you just know it. You know?
We got weights and fish.
Yeah, we got weights and fish.
We got weights and fish.
Oh God. What a freaking wild ass show. I love it.
What a good one.
Good luck, John. Let's go. Let's go Buckeyes. You know, I mean, I think for this one, I got to say I'm Team Hayes, only because We've got John in the house feeding us information. I mean, the scores could be right. This game could not even be today. That's how little I know or am invested in this. But I saw that come up, and I'm like, I love this. I was like, I love that you guys are. This is the kind of shit that I like to see in the content creation world. So, we got some good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to wrap this sucker up, guys. We'll see you. And, let's just make this sucker just a real simple 2-segment show. We don't have an interview this week or anything like that. Let's go ahead and we'll wrap this sucker up right here, guys. The Christmas is coming. We hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. You won't get another episode from us until New Year's Eve. You'll be getting an episode from us on New Year's Eve. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. Enjoy the time with your families and, have some fun. Be safe. If you're drinking, be safe out you're getting home. Have a driver or work out whatever you got to do to make things, don't unalive yourself, as the hip kids say.
Only because you can't say kill yourself on Instagram.
That's true. But on podcasts, go right ahead. Suicide's fine.
Whoa!
Hey now.
And we just got canceled.
There we are. Hey.
All of a sudden, there's no viewers anymore. What's happening here? What's going on with this camera?
Oh, who's knocking on my door right now?
Exactly. I love it. I love it. It's the world we live in. You guys have yourself a good one. Have a Merry Christmas. Joe, you got anything for anybody?
I got nothing. You guys have everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Let's do it.
I love it. John Hagan says, do not involuntarily opt out. That is the perfect way to put it.
That's actually probably the best fucking term for it I've heard ever.
That's amazing. I love that. You guys have yourselves an amazing one. We will see you in 7 days of more Jigs and Bigs goodness. Of course, we have lots of content that's available on our YouTube channels. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. We have good stuff lined up for 2025. And next month, we are jumping in big time to dropping some info about the 2025 multi-species scavenger hunt, as well as the all-new
monthly
slot limit tournaments that are coming up. So buckle up. I had a conversation with Sean the Fisherman this week, and he was like, oh, did you figure out what dates you want to do those slot limit tournaments on? I was like, dude, I'm doing one a month. And he was like, noted. That's great. So there's a lot more flexibility. So
Good.
You guys have a good one. Take good care. We'll see you next time. Like we always say,
it's an ass smoke some grass.